Welcome to Session Sunday. Hi guys, it's Jack Edwards and today's session is focusing around small-sided games. But before we get into this week's video, make sure to give us a like, subscribe, and if you missed last week's video, click on the link above. Okay, so moving into the first part of this week's session, we're moving into our first small-sided game, okay, but what we're going to be looking at this week for our theme is pressing high, okay, so all of the drills we're doing, okay, they are small-sided games, but they've all got the theme of pressing high as a team, okay. In terms of the players this week, we're going to have 13 players, 12 outfield players and a goalkeeper. Obviously, we'll talk about how we can adapt that if you have more or less players. In terms of equipment, we're going to be using balls, bibs and cones, and we're going to try and have some poles, okay, so when we're having small-sided goals in here, and obviously if you don't have a bigger goal to use as well, you can use the poles instead as an alternative. In terms of the setup, for the first part of this week's session, okay, we've got 30 yards of width, and we've got 30 yards of depth, okay, but the depth in here is 20, and then 10 yards further back in here. Okay, so how we're going to set this up. So the yellows are going to be the team in possession looking to play forward into the wide areas here, through the gates. They're going to have two players on the outside, acting as either full-backs or centre-backs. Two players in the middle, again, can either be centre-backs or midfielders, okay, so dropping in to receive the ball. And then two high midfielders / forwards, okay, who will go, one of them can come in here, okay, to obviously provide some support. One always has to stay, and then they're looking to obviously get the ball into this area and play through to score. The ball starts with the goalkeeper, who will always be on the yellows. Obviously, you can alternate and change it out if you want to. So he's going to look to play out into the middle or play to either side. The players on the outside have a maximum of 2 touches, so that means they've got to move the ball quickly. Okay, so obviously that can be a switch of play. They can obviously try and play straight through if they want to. They can switch to play. They can play through the middle of the pitch as well. In terms of the Blues, what we're looking to do as a team is obviously cover that ground, okay, provide as little space as possible, force the ball into areas where we can pinch it and then go and attack the goal quickly because we're winning the ball in the final third. So when the ball starts with the goalkeeper, okay, they've got the 2 players set up here. We can obviously set it with 1 forward, you can set it with 2 forwards, but they're not going to be playing off the same angle. You can have 1 player block and 1 pass off, okay, which means that one centre-back might struggle to get the ball. As soon as the goalkeeper plays to the other player in here, can we provide support? So can a winger cut off that pass out wide? Can this midfielder here, okay, cut off passes into here? Can the striker press to stop this player getting the ball, whilst also obviously putting pressure on the player in possession of the ball, and then the other winger comes across in here. Okay, so what's the options for them then? They can switch the play to here, but this player's on 2 touch. So if they have 1 bad touch, then they've only got 1 touch left to play, or we can give the ball back to them, the Blues. So what we're looking for then is they get across, okay, they make it difficult, okay, for the yellows to play through. If 1 yellow comes in short, okay, then again, we just speak to the players here, cover the angle so this player move out a little bit more, okay, which means the line is cut off. So then if they do look to play through the middle of the pitch, let's say the ball comes in here, can we look to step in to intercept the ball, attack the goal quickly, and then look to score. If the yellows do manage to switch the play, okay, and you get it into an area in here, into this, we're calling it the final third, but if it's the middle third of the pitch, they're looking to play the ball, okay, through the gates to score, and then the ball again will start with the goalkeeper. So we can swap the teams over after a certain amount of time. If obviously you want certain players to swap over, but obviously if you're working with your attacking players in this area, pressing high, okay, then you want to use your defenders and maybe hold midfielders as the opposition to obviously try and beat the press as well. So obviously what we're looking for is pressing high as a unit, okay, so closing them gaps, okay, the angles and distances, showing that willingness to win the ball back, and then when we do win the ball, being clinical in the final third. We will now move into our first animation before moving on to part 2 of this week's session. Now moving into part 2 of this week's session, we're now looking to press from long balls. So we're looking to win second balls when the ball drops. If we win the header, can we secure the ball to go forward? Okay, so what we're looking at is then balls coming into wide and central areas, okay, and we're moving across as a team to secure the ball and then go and attack in the final third. So the ball will start with the goalkeeper. In terms of the setup, we're going to have 50 yards of total depth. Okay, we're going to have 20 yards in here for the final third. We're going to use this as our offside line as well. So when the team wins the ball back, okay, they're obviously looking to break the line to go and score, but we obviously don't want to play just standing in this area waiting for it. Okay, so it's got to be a time run, so it also helps them support the teammates to win the ball back and then burst into space to keep it realistic. And then we're having 30 yards of depth in this area here. So this way the goalkeeper's going to be looking to clip the ball. In terms of width, we're going to go 30 yards. If you want to increase that as well, you can do. Obviously, we've only got a 6v6. If you have more players, then obviously you want to make that a little bit wider. You can make it a little bit deeper as well. And obviously, if you have another goalkeeper, we can just add another goalkeeper in here. So instead of trying to score by playing through the side, the poles here, the small-sided goals, the yellows can look to play through. To obviously play through here, but if we've got a goalkeeper in, you can look to score instead. So goalkeeper starts with the ball here. So what we're looking for is set up in our formation, which we're going to set up in the game. So if it's a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, it's a 4-4-2, you might have one of the strikers dropping in anyway. So what we're looking for is the goalkeeper to clip it. So they can clip it into wide areas, which mean the yellows might get across over to one side more, or clip it central. So let's say they clip the ball centrally, okay, and then we move up the pitch, okay, jamming the ball. The blues win the header, falls to one of the blues' feet, okay, secure the ball. Okay, so when we secure the ball, can we look to go and attack quickly in that final third? Anyone's allowed to go into that final third, but obviously we're looking to manoeuvre the ball quickly to give us a better chance of scoring, of attacking the space in behind, to then finish. If the ball gets played long, okay, and the yellows win the ball, it gets played into yellow's feet, what are we looking for then? Okay, nearest man, so nearest to the player, press the ball. Who else is close by? Who can support? So we're cutting off the passing lanes here, okay, we're cutting off the options by all getting across as a team, providing that support. So then when the player gets the ball, they're under pressure, can we look to pinch it? And then obviously, can we attack the weak side? Can we attack the space in behind? Maybe drive into space, play in, play through, okay, with obviously players trying to track back, but we're going to have the advantage of obviously moving the ball quickly into space, and then we're looking to score. Okay, so obviously the ball might drop towards the yellows, okay, they might get a lucky ricochet, as it can happen in a game as well, and they take the ball into space, okay, so then what we're looking for is obviously preventing them moving forward, okay, so preventing forward passes. If they move it side to side, okay, we have one player pressing here, we obviously preventing passes forward. When the ball comes into an area where we can get bodies around the ball, if the player then takes the ball inside, can we look to pinch it again to then go and attack in that final third and score? So obviously in this area here, the attacks might be quite quick and intense, okay, so obviously for the players, telling about that endurance, okay, making sure we can keep going, okay, showing that urgency to win the ball back, okay, those angles and distances, not getting too close to the opposition, especially off the headers, making sure we can get a run jump. So the fullback staying wide, we don't want to start with them because we're giving them a run inside, okay. We want to start off a little bit inside, okay, so obviously we're preventing the gaps in here as well. So when the ball does get clipped out there, okay, if it's coming here, we've got a chance with our momentum to win the ball and then go forward. If the ball goes out to the side, normal throw-ins for both teams as well. Okay, so obviously that's another chance for us to press. So if we win the head and it goes out, okay, we can look to press the throw-in. If the yellows head it out, the blues can obviously have a throw-in as well to gain possession and then look to score. We will now move into our next animation before moving on to the final part of this week's session. Okay, so moving into the final part of this week's session, we're now moving into our final small-sided game based around press and height. So what we're looking at now is we're looking to prevent balls getting played through. Okay, so obviously we're going to have our thirds here. So we're going to have 2 teams of 6 again with our goalkeeper. Again, if you have more players, we just adapt it, okay? You can have an equal number of players in each box for the yellows, okay, however you want to do it. And then obviously we have a second goalkeeper. You can put an extra goal in instead of the small goals to play through at the side. So in terms of the yellows, okay, they've got to get the ball through each box before playing through the gates, okay? So they can't just pick it up here and clip into final third. So we're trying to encourage that high press. So the blues and the yellows, they're free to move wherever they want, okay? If the players drive through as well, that's fine, okay? But they've obviously just got to travel or play the ball through each box before they score. So in terms of the blues here, they're not worrying about this player. If the player drops in, okay, then we can look to worry about it, okay, because then this player might come short and this player will have to think about it. So it's checking them shoulders, being aware of what's around them. So we're going to have, they can set up wherever we want. So the yellows, they could set up with a 4, okay? They could set up with 2, okay, and push 2 players further on, which would then obviously give the Blues something to think about. But the Blues might want to set up in a 4-4-2, okay? So we'd have the 4 midfielders, the 2 players in here, and then obviously the Yellows might leave 1 player back here. So we can just differentiate, okay, however you want to do it. So we're going to start with a 3. So 3 attackers, and we're going to, let's say we have 3 midfielders as well, okay, for the Blues. We've got the goalkeeper here. In terms of the setup, okay, we're going to go again, 30 yards of width, okay, 50 yards of total depth, 2 20-yard boxes and a 10-yard box. You can increase that again based on the amount of players that you have. If you feel like it's becoming too easy for one team, then you can obviously increase it as well, but that's how we're going to start it off. So goalkeeper looks to play out. Okay, the Blues are obviously looking to press. Where can they get their support from in behind? So it's not just 3 players in here pressing, okay, and these players just, waiting around for the ball to come in. These are actively pressing as well. Okay, so how can we support? So the ball comes into here. This midfielder might step in, forming a triangle. This player as well, and they get that support in behind, okay? The fullback might like to come in here, so it's just simple talking, okay? So then if the ball did look to get switched, this player can come out, can this player drop in and provide some support, and then we get across as a team to prevent those balls into the final third. Obviously, the Yellows are going to look to move up as a unit, so if they move the ball into the middle third, okay, can they get some support in there? So one of the Blues might look to drop back a little bit, okay, if the ball's in the middle here. The wingers obviously will come back in, the midfielders are here. You might have the whole midfielder dropping in, okay? They're going to look to obviously stretch the pitch, so it's how we can adapt to those scenarios. But first, we're looking to obviously press them high, okay? So let's get our 3 back in here to start. And our 3 attackers. So then what we're looking for here is, these could have 3 midfielders in here as well. Okay, so when that ball gets played out, putting pressure on the ball, okay, getting that support from here, making it difficult for the Yellows. So as soon as they get the ball, where's the options here? Okay, if they want to try and play that ball through, we can intercept it. Okay, if they want to keep the ball in here, we're going to entice them into areas where we can win the ball. If they look to try and switch the ball, we get across quickly. Okay, we cut out the gaps. Okay, we get that support as a team. And then what we're looking for is obviously having that urgency, that willingness to get across, that desire to win the ball, okay, the angles and distances, we're not getting too close, not being too far, checking those shoulders, okay, moving across as a unit, okay, and then we're looking to win the ball in the right areas, okay, so using the triggers which we talk about quite a lot, the bad first touch, a long pass, okay, back to goal or a mistake to try and press the ball or targeting individual players. The ball might get played in here, we get across, okay, we provide no out ball, player takes a touch, we pinch it, play into the final third, obviously play still live, anyone can move anywhere. We get a striker might pull the defender out into space, take it out here, and then look to score. Obviously, if the ball gets in here, into the middle third, which it might do, okay, then obviously what we're looking for from the Blues then is, can we react, okay, prevent that space in behind. We obviously have to work hard as a team, get the midfielders back in, okay, to provide that support, okay, to prevent goals into here, so obviously passes through, and then the players in front, okay, stopping players getting the ball when they do get it, okay, staying compact, letting the ball go across. When the ball comes across, we're getting across as a unit, okay, and then when it goes into an area where we can win the ball, can we pinch it quickly, and then what do we give ourselves in behind? Space to attack, to get in, and then score. We will now move into our final animation before concluding this week's session. Thanks for watching this week's video. For more content, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok. The links will be in the description below, and we'll see you next week for another Session Sunday.